All right. We've now been joined by Kurt Busch, driver of the #1 Monster Energy Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing. And once again, in advance of this weekend's NASCAR Cup Series race at Darlington Raceway. We will once again go straight to questions. As a friendly reminder, please keep your questions to one at a time. And then if we have time for follow-up questions, we'll be sure to call on you again. And Tom, we're ready for questions.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, that's *1 if you do have a question. And we'll go first to Jeff Gluck with The Athletic.
Kurt, I'm wondering, there's been a lot of talk about that first turn one moment. How do you think that drivers are going to approach it? Will it be any different than a normal race with, no practice and a green track? Will guys take it a little cautiously, or will they treat it like, any other race?
It'll be exciting, to say the least. When I ran the Indy 500 a few years ago, everybody hyped up the 3 wide going into turn 1. And a lot of it is because the whole month of preparation, practice and drafting, you're only doing it with a few cars at a time. And this will be the same thing for us, is that it's a group of cars, a group of professionals all barreling down into turn 1 with months of built up anxiety and excitement. And everybody knows it, though. Everybody can feel it. And I hope that everybody uses their best judgment to know that I'm sure there's going to be a competition caution for everybody to check their settings with the front splitter, the cambers, the setup balances. And so my approach is that we need to all drive down in there at an 80% level and then start to ramp up our percentage of aggressiveness as the race moves forward.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Daniel McFadden with NBC Sports.
Yeah, Kurt, it's been a long time since there was a Cup race in the daytime at Darlington, and a long time since there was a Cup race in the daytime this early in the year. As someone who could attest to having competed in those races, how differently does Darlington race in the daytime this early in the year compared to Darlington late in the summer? And what are you expecting from this package and how it will take the track?
Each of our upcoming races are all going to be in different time slots, and the track grip levels are going to be very different than what they've shown for patterns in the years past. And so this race, I want everybody to look at how bleached out the asphalt will look when we turn on that broadcast on Sunday. You're going to look and go, wow, I don't even recognize the racetrack because there's been no track activity, no Xfinity Series, no trucks, nobody that even put any kind of rubber down from the practice sessions. And so the whole thing will be a whole different look. And so it'll get built up with rubber. It'll be slicker in the daytime. Turns 1 and 2 has the sun beating down on it harder. And looking at the weather forecast, it's going to be in the upper 80s. And so this will be a big challenge right off the bat with a 400-miler. Everybody's physical level will be tested, mental level, and adjusting to track conditions. This on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 9.5 to start off with.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Edgar Thompson with the Orlando Sentinel.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, Kurt. Do you feel like all eyes are going to be on NASCAR this week just to see how it goes off and these next 10 days? And do you feel like it ultimately could be a litmus test for other professional sports leagues?
I feel like this is a genuine opportunity for many different reasons. All sports fans, NASCAR fans, the teams, the drivers, the sanctioning body, we're all looking forward to it. And at the end of the day, we're hopeful that this is a light at the end of the tunnel that people can see, or it's a beacon that's shining out there going, this is a professional sport with competitors and millions of dollars in TV and teams and sponsorships that create a sense of balance, of wow, if they can do it, we can do it. But all other sports have many more hurdles that they have to overcome. And for us, it's exciting that we have our chance to go out there and just compete. I mean, whether it's a stage to stand on or not, you got to block out all that pressure. I'm looking forward to trying to grab the first checkered flag in 2 months.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate that.
We'll go next to Alex Andreev with Charlotte Observer.
Hey, Kurt, thank you for taking the time. I know that you'll have the opportunity to race at Darlington with a new teammate, and I'm curious kind of how you think he'll do given the no practice and the new situation for him.
Yeah, I think Matt Kenseth is up for the challenge. It's a unique set of circumstances for everybody. And then for Matt to have not been in the car for a longer duration than all the rest of us, you know, it'll be different. New team, of course, communication over the radio. And he's gone through the steps, though, with Ganassi and our manufacturer with Chevrolet in the simulator to make some laps, to hear his crew chief on the radio and to do things in the virtual aspect. But again, nothing translates to the real thing and feeling the G-forces and being out there with the competitors. And he has the option to start in the 7th place position or wherever the random draw goes for the top 12 in points. And so there's that question. Does he just want to drop to the back and kind of ease into it? But Matt's a champion, a true professional, and I'm excited to work with him as we move forward.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Lee Spencer with RacingBoys.com.
Hey, Kurt. Hope you're doing well. Had a question for you. You were a rookie in 2001 when racing got back on track after 9/11, and you know, a lot of people, they want to compare this event to either 1979 Daytona, where everybody was snowed in, or 2001, where we took off a hiatus after 9/11, then went back to the track. Can you remember what type of experience it was to get back on the track after 9/11, and kind of the emotions that followed that, and the response that you received from the fans, just kind of a feel-good moment of putting everything back into whatever normal was going to be like after that?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, Lee, and it's a great question. With 9/11 and having that moment for our country to be attacked in a terrorism type of setting, there are some similarities to that in this current day, but everybody wanted to go back to the track, and I swear everybody was wearing red, white, and blue. There was no other color, and the grandstands were packed. The electricity was beyond, and that moment is similar to what we're going to experience, but it's going to be an empty set of grandstands. It's going to be all eyeballs and spirits watching through the Fox network, and we'll be able to feel them. We definitely will have a whole different set of feelings and circumstances around us as teams, as sponsors, and as drivers when we get to the track on Sunday. But we know that everybody's going to be through that camera lens, and that's what we saw in 1979 with everybody having travel issues and being snowed in on the East Coast, and that set of eyeballs watching transcended our sport. And so that happens over time. I think the 9/11 thing happened instantaneously. This one has been a 2-month break in racing action, but yet we're not going to have our fans at a full capacity right now at the track. It'll be through the television. So it's a blend. It is a big moment, but at the same time will tell on what this does for our sport and how we're able to help create a little bit of some normalcy for every fan that tunes in on Sunday.
We'll take our next question from Scott Chansey with Florence Morning News.
Yes, sir. Considering, how often in races the pit crew can mean all the difference in the world, how confident in your pit crew to execute come crunch time?
Well, I'm very confident. So we have a good group at Ganassi. My group on the number 1 car has been ranked in the top 10 so far this year in 2020. They were all in the same position from last year. And so it helps that they have that continuity and that they've been in their isolation bubble together. And that's what this week is about, is preparation, mentally, physically, of it's time. We've got to do this. And Darlington is one of the toughest tracks on pit crews. So again, it gets back to that challenge of a scale of 1 to 10. This is a 9.5. It might even be a 10 for everything that's going on with how we're arriving at the track through the different protocols, what we have to do while we're at track to stay safe with our PPE equipment, as well as perform our duties. And so this will be a big challenge, but I know that all my guys are up for it.
Thank you so much.
And we'll take our next question from Kelly Crandall with Racer.com.
Thanks. Hey, Kurt. Going back to talking about Matt being your new teammate at Ganassi, once we really start getting into back into full swing with racing week after week, the further we go into the schedule, will this be a situation where with the two of you, both of your experience and abilities, can you guys push Ganassi forward, maybe take that next step? Is there an opportunity here to bring this company to the next level between the two of you?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons for the decision to go with Matt Kenseth, a past champion. And, you know, for us to have been teammates years ago, that already helps us cross over a bridge that sometimes you need to spend time on. And then his work ethic, his drive, and also the chance here at this opportunity. It's to use his experience and to use his wisdom and help a whole new group of guys on that 42 car. Those are the things that I did with the 1 car. And, you know, it's a matter of raising the bar for everybody. And that's where, yes, Matt's going to look for that opportunity to do it. He'll know when there's the right time to implement certain things. And the two of us, I hope, you know, quicker rather than later, are just in a sync, side by side, and pushing, you know, our group as well as General Motors and what we can do with Chevrolet and make Ganassi a winner week in and week out.
We'll go next to Dustin Albino. I'm sorry, this is actually the last question for Kurt. We'll go next to Dustin Albino with FrontStretch.com.
Hey, Kurt, thanks for taking your time. I'm curious, how have you been able to interact with Matt McCall over the past 8 weeks or so?
I've become an IT expert in Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, standing on my head and trying to find the right cell service. It's been an amazing time for all of us to communicate in new ways. I'm actually going to go to the race shop later this afternoon with just him and I separated from the group. There's a shift change that happens, and so the shop is quiet for an hour, and it'll just be him and I. We're just going to just stay social distanced, of course. We're going to talk about our car. We're going to meet face to face. I'm going to sit in my race car that I'm taking to Darlington and go through a section that I think is important to sync up and be ready to go when they drop that green flag. And so we've done a great job. Sarcasm, having fun, joke, family, and of course, getting down to the notes now and how we ran at Darlington last fall. We're ready to jump on top of this task and win this race Sunday.
And Amanda, I'll turn the call back over to you.
All right, Kurt, we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the question.